Welcome back to Feedback, where the streets are talking and they are saying that the queen is back. I'm, of course, talking about Nene Leakes, who is on Ultimate Girls Trip, which features Kyle Richards, Giselle Bryant, Teresa Giudice, Portia Williams, Lisa Barlow, and Countess Luann de Lesseps, and Vicky Gunvalson. I'm kidding. I do enjoy Vicky, even though I am currently not watching this season of Orange County because I need a break from those ladies. But I was very, very excited to see Nene back on Real Housewives, even if it is just the Ultimate Girls Trip Roaring 20th, which is celebrating 20 years of Real Housewives. The episode literally opens with Nene arriving at Portia's place to help her pack. The entire scene felt just like a love letter to Housewives fans, to Nene fans, to Atlanta fans. It was, I don't know, it was like heartwarming. It felt healing to see her back on Bravo again, to see her interacting with Portia. It's just like they jumped back into the fun that I really think has been missing since Nene left, that pure innocent fun, as it were. Go buy my book. This has been a great season of Atlanta, by the way. I have loved this cast so much, and I really do think that you're sleeping on a great season of Housewives if you have not watched Atlanta this season. It's quotable again, it's funny, but what Nene brought was just this energy of fun when there's not even anything happening. You know, I think what I really loved about Atlanta as a franchise was the fact that sometimes nothing may happen in an episode until the end, or just like an iconic moment in the middle, but while quote unquote nothing is happening, it is so fun and entertaining to just spend time with these women. And I just had such a really good time hanging out with these women. I attended a party for Ultimate Girls Trip Roaring 20th. And it was honestly like fucking amazing. I've never been to one of the like, influencer events that Bravo throws, but this was really, really fab. It was at the Lobster Club in Midtown East. The food was good. I had several martinis. I had several Cosmos. I was very hungover the next day. I got to see a lot of fun creators. I got to see my friend Gibson Johns, who is in this episode. We will get to that in just a bit. But I got to meet a lot of the Housewives too, and reunite with some that I have met before. I met Stacey Rush from Real Housewives of Potomac, and that was a dream. She is so gorgeous in person, and I don't know, like I just really love her. The audience loves her. Andy loves her, and the other girls know it. And I asked Stacey how this new season of Potomac is going to turn out, and she said there's a lot of twists and turns, but she also said that it's been hard, which makes me think that Ashley Darby has been on her neck again this season, and I need the girls to give it a rest when it comes to Stacey. Okay, let her just like have fun, like befriend her already. The audience likes her. Get over it. From Atlanta, Portia was there. I did not chat with her, but when I arrived, she was hopping out of her Suburban, and she was so fucking gorgeous in person. It's just like stunning to look at. I have interviewed Portia before, but seeing her in person and not on Zoom was just fab. Like, she looked amazing. And I got to see 50 Cent, Cynthia Bailey, who was also in attendance. I reminded her that we had met before at my friend Nina Parker's birthday in Los Angeles once, and she didn't really recall the details. And I was like, well, you were still with Mike at that time. And she said, well, That's probably why I don't remember. I tried to do a really good model pose in the photo that I took with her, but, you know, she was mogging the hell out of me, girl. Lisa Barlow was there, baby gorgeous. I love her. She was one of the first Salt Lake City housewives to follow me on Instagram. And I was like, Lisa, I don't know if you remember. She was like, girl, I know who you are. We took a photo. She made sure the lighting was good. And it was just fun seeing her in person because she had like a bunch of the Bravo people swarmed around her as she was talking business at the party. And I was like, Lisa Barlow is always going to be Lisa Barlow. And that is why I love her. From New York, Luann was singing Chic C'est La Vie and got all the other housewives to sing it with her. And I'm like, how many times did she make them sing that damn song while they were recording the show together? And Dorinda was there as well. And Dorinda is so just fantastic in person. She was really, really sweet. She was really engaged in talking to me and my friend Lucas Tim. I told her that she has to come on Feedback, and she said that she is releasing a book in the fall, and I got her number, so hopefully Dorinda will be sitting on the couch sooner than later. And yeah, when Andy gave a speech about the series, he talked about how, you know, they really got to a place of sisterhood at the end of the Ultimate Girls Trip season. I don't know. I think that is really just the point of these shows too. You know, I think that now they've been on for 20 years and, you know, so much has happened, so many fights, so many scandals, but these women are just part of this like unique experiment, this unique docu-soap that has been on for 2 decades as a franchise, and they'll be forever bonded by it. And I will forever, you know, think about these women's stories that I have gotten to watch and be a part of. Yeah, it's weird to, you know, sort of interact with people that you've been watching on TV for almost 2 decades, some of them. And everyone wants to be a part of the Bravo conversation now. You know, legacy media wants in, TikTok wants in, every podcaster wants a seat at BravoCon. And even the housewives have figured out that cultivating fan accounts is just another part of the job. So joining me today is Bravo reporter Gibson Johns, whose entire career has unfolded alongside that transformation. We get into how covering Bravo has changed from entertainment journalism into its own media ecosystem, the blurry line between access and criticism, whether fans are making these shows better or accidentally ruining them, and what separates a great reality star from someone who's just performing for the discourse. Along the way, we discuss The Valley, the impossible task of criticizing Beverly Hills, and the one thing every successful housewife understands that the audience sometimes forgets. Conflict is the point. Feedback starts now. Gibson.
Hi, Rod.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Let's get into the business of Bravo.
Okay.
Which has become a business for you now.
It is my business.
It is your business. It's what you live. It's what you breathe.
It's what I gab about.
Gabbing with Gib.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about how you went from Bravo fan, and this is like 20 seasons of Orange County ago, and if you started then too, and how you turned this into, this is what I do for my job now.
I started, the ones I remember from watching from season 1, RHONY, Atlanta, and Jersey. That's what, I wasn't really ever like a diehard OC.
Mm-hmm.
Those 3 were watching from season 1 in my house. I have an older brother who always exposed me to things in pop culture probably earlier than I would have been. Grateful for him. And from there, my first job out of college was at AOL, where I was like writing entertainment news. And
okay. I still have an email from there.
Love that for you. I don't.
But a lot of celebrities do, by the way.
Believe me, I've seen, and like back when I was I'd interview celebrities as part of that gig,
mm-hmm.
and they would all like whisper in my ear like, I still have AOL. Meanwhile, our emails were hosted on Gmail. So, but I would interview some of them, and I was such a fan. I was like sort of live tweeting. I didn't really have a following back then. But then I started to realize that like interviewing a Bravo celebrity is so much more. You get so much more than interviewing like a random big celebrity, which was cool. But I'd rather hear 20 minutes of Vicky Gunvalson going off about Shannon and Tamra versus like 12 minutes with Chrissy Teigen where you don't really learn anything. No shade. So I just kind of followed that thread. And I was, during the pandemic was when it sort of converged where like I was interviewing and people sort of who really were diehard had found that. And then I was really live tweeting a lot. And that's where it really kind of built up for me.
I mean, you are speaking very openly. I love that quote.
Let's just recreate the clip.
Let's create the Nene.
An E.T.
E.T. Which, by the way, I have never seen the full clip of that.
No, me neither. I don't know what season that was.
I don't know who she's talking about. Kenya Moore, I think, right?
She's speaking very highly of you.
Yeah.
I think it is Kenya. Yeah.
Yeah. Was she the reason you decided not to come back? But so reality TV used to be something journalists covered from a distance, though. And now many Bravo reporters are also fans. So like, how has that changed the relationship, do you think, between criticism, access, and fandom?
Within the Bravo world?
Within the Bravo world specifically.
Yeah, I think it's interesting sort of even zooming out a little bit, like it feels like everybody wants a piece of the Bravo and like broader reality TV pie. Like they realize how diehard the fandom is. And so like every outlet, all these outlets that never would have even touched it are trying to get in sort of not even on the ground floor, like higher up. And like the whole thing's been sort of gamified from the reality stars perspective, where it's like there's a certain way that you can do things and there are certain people that it makes sense to have relationships with. And some of that's out in the open, some of it's not. You know, I try to, from my perspective, I try to be pretty open about who I have become close to over the years. Naturally, it's like, honestly, like,
well, you're on the show.
What?
I've seen the show Tamar. Like you're at Lindsay's housewarming.
I was at Lindsay's housewarming. Like I've had clips on the Valley. Like that's how it happens. And like for me, I'm just sort of like, as long as I'm open about the fact that like over the past 10 years, I have gradually become close with certain people or like have these relationships. As long as I'm not hiding it, like I'd rather just be open about that. A lot of it happens behind, you know, in the DMs or you don't post about it. And most of these Bravo celebrities are savvy enough now to know that like you do befriend the journalists, you do befriend the fan pages, because then that's how you get, I think in their minds, a more favorable, I don't know, conversation around you.
What was it like, I guess, for you, your first interactions with a Bravo celebrity?
I was probably fanning out, to be honest. I was like 25.
Yeah.
And I was like...
So 2 years ago.
Exactly. 25. No, I'm sure I was like fanning out. I thought that was also very green in this whole media world still at that point. And I thought it was so cool that I was talking to anybody famous. But I remember like certain, like Leanne from Dallas, for example, she came with a gift bag of her merch. This was before she was really scary, okay. You know? And I understand that maybe you'd be more scared. Like she's like but she brought like a bag of merch basically for me. And it's like they knew how to butter you up.
Yeah.
You know, I was like the little 25-year-old interviewing them in a very favorable way. And because I just liked having, again, I was still learning. So they would do that kind of stuff and it worked, I guess, at that point. Like I felt like connected to them and they would come in every single season. And then that's how the relationships really start. And there's this whole thing of like, you know, I think certain people are probably favored by the network because the talent is comfortable with them. And it doesn't mean that you can't criticize anything or whatever, but that's also part of it. And sometimes I get criticized for that, but I'm just sort of like, okay, but like, again, zooming out, like this is the most important like work relationship that you can have if you're in my space. So it's like, what am I going to do? Like burn it all to the ground? No. It's been a gradual thing though, of like figuring out the balance between fanning out and being excited to like be around some of them and also being like, I still have to talk about you.
Right.
You know, it's a weird line.
So specifically from the criticism point of view, right?
Yeah.
There is, now that we're covering Bravo so much, and different
Mm-hmm.
outlets are covering it. It feels like there exists a space, though, for someone to be a general reporter or interviewer of the talent, and then there also to exist people who are taking the role of cultural critic, like
Yes.
actually criticizing it.
Right.
Do you feel as if you prefer one or the other?
I would say that like the criticism part of it is not where I gravitate towards naturally.
Mm-hmm.
I like analyzing the shows. It can be from a critical lens. It can be from a praising perspective. But like, I guess I view the ecosystem as like, I slot in like a specific place where I don't recap the shows. I do interview and talk to them, but I also analyze them. And I don't know if that always works, but like I guess I don't view myself as a critic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. And I think that other people do that way better than I ever would.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, that's how I view it. It's like there's already people who do this and who will continue to do it, and they probably will always do it better than I will.
Yeah.
And I would like to make space for those people on my show to talk to them and like hear about their criticism and their perspective. And that's, I guess, how I view my space, my spot.
Which makes sense, actually, because when you are a critic, you really shouldn't be having these interpersonal relationships with the people that you're commenting on anyway.
I agree.
And I think a lot of people get into this space and they want to critique, they want to do the commentary, etc. But then they also want access to the Bravo Labs. They want to be invited to all the Bravo parties, etc. And that doesn't even work in like film and TV world, you know? I'm not being invited to all these fan events or hanging out with celebrities who, you know, are in the things that I'm watching because I'm in the role of a critic, you know, and necessarily people aren't going to always want to sit down with me.
I mean, I've been at Bravo parties where I see Bravo talent interacting with a creator or podcaster or critic or somebody like that who I know for a fact has shit talked that person. I don't know if they know that or not.
Yeah, on their shows or
yes,
online.
Online. And I have watched interactions like that countless times. That's something that is kind of like maybe an anxiety of mine in the space of like, has this person seen what I've said? And I don't think if I'm ever really critical about somebody, it's pretty much always from like a deserved, informed place. Like if I'm going in on somebody, like from my perspective, they really deserve it. It's not, I'm not doing it for like to rile people up really. And that happens kind of few and far between, but like I've watched that happen. And if I'm anxious about that, I don't know what some of the other people think about, you know?
Has a housewife or other Bravo celebrity like been mad at you?
Yeah, that BravoCon Angel from Potomac, she had messaged me on social media and she was like, hey, like I'd love to make sure I meet you at BravoCon. Oh. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
At the red carpet, I saw her.
Did you have to drive 5 hours to meet her?
There was running water at BravoCon.
In the VIP section.
It was in Nevada, not Colorado. Let's not get it twisted. And she was walking by me and I said, hey, Angel Gibson, you reached out. She was like, I want you to be nicer to me online. And I said, I'm so sorry you think that I've been shading you. What in particular do you think was mean that I said? I can't really think of anything. Well, if you're going to confront me, you got to tell me a specific... Yeah, exactly. Because I don't think anything I said was that... Again, people were much... There's always going to be somebody meaner than me. I know that
me
for a fact.
one.
Yeah, you're the front of the list. But it's like, there's always going to be... I just really feel that into my bones. So I've had moments like that.
And now it doesn't really matter, does it?
One season wonder.
Yeah.
So...
Is anyone wondering?
Let's sit with that for a second. Listen, I would have welcomed Angel back for a season.
Honestly, I would have welcomed Angel back.
I really would
have. Think
keep that rental lease going in Maryland.
I think part of the problem with Angel too was that the timing of the trip, coincided with the filming of the reunion happened before it aired. I don't think that the network was prepared for how much we were going to love that flop trip of hers. It made the season. I don't think there were enough questions about it at the reunion, etc. And she didn't really get a chance to capitalize on that moment. I think if we had gone into the reunion
I
knowing
agree.
that, she might have had a bigger moment. She might have felt more love from the fans, etc. And then we could have had what I sort of really wanted was, when they redid that trip this season on Salt Lake City, like the camping thing where Angie had people like do a fun trip and make fun of yourself.
I totally agree.
But she really did seem like a housewife who could not make fun of herself.
I mean, if you're sensitive to what I'm saying, I mean, I've had people message me being like, I heard what you said on your podcast about me, like 45 minutes into it, 3 hours after it came out. I'm like, I don't know what.
So they're listening.
You're also doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Like I think the best Bravo celebrities, the Bravo celebrities that have the most longevity, who've been around for 10 years plus, they're the ones who understand that people like me and you exist in their space. And we actually help to elevate the conversation. We help to promote the shows, inherently. And they understand that there's going to be criticism. And as long as it's sort of based in what we've seen on the shows, it's based in like actual reality. And it's not like conspiracy based or just sort of like totally wackadoodle. Like those people who accept that and understand that, they're going to have the longest runway ahead of them on TV. And they're the best at their jobs, I think. Because they view it for what it is, which is ultimately we all talk about these shows because we want them to be good. We want to love the people. We want them to succeed. Like, I'm not watching Bravo because I want the shows to be bad. Like, right. I want RHONY to be great, but it's just objectively not right now. And so I'm going to say that, but I'm still talking about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of RHONY and speaking of people who sort of take it personally when you critique the shows, I feel like the person we're always thinking about is Andy Cohen. You might feel cautious about saying this season of RHONY sucks, especially when you have Andy blasting Sarah Michelle Gellar publicly because she said that Beverly Hills was boring.
Right.
Like, don't come into my studio saying that. I'm like, if he's gonna go after Buffy,
he can go after anybody.
He'll go after anybody.
Sure. Yeah. It's interesting what his sort of soft spots are. I think RHONY and Beverly Hills are sort of the two biggest ones, to be honest. Yeah, it's this weird thing where I think I think people like Andy and probably the highest people up at Bravo, like they look at people like Danny or Watch What Crappens or people that pop up a lot who have created these huge platforms. I think that but even if they're criticizing something, it really means something, and they should be paying attention. That's how I view it. And I think that they have almost, it's like they know that more eyes are on them, so they're probably a little bit more careful, but also they probably also know they can, I don't know, whatever they say, it's going to be listened to. We got a call.
You know that's for you.
Do I get to pick it up?
Yeah.
Gibson speaking.
Hey, it's Ben from Watch What Crappens, and my question is about the Valley, and I want to know about Janet and Jason, because they've been sort of persona non grata, last season, at the end of last season especially, and then coming into this season. But now, like, looking at all the couples on the show right now, Kristen and Luke, Danny and Nia, I don't know who else is left, but are Jason and Janet low-key the most functional couple of this group? Even though they're the villains, he always stands up for her, and he like kind of goes out of his way to stand up for her. They seem to have healthy communication, and they definitely they joke a lot. I kind of feel like they may actually be the strongest couple out of everyone on this show. What do you guys think?
First of all, love Ben. Shout out to
love Ben.
We love Ben.
We summoned him.
We really did summon him.
Yeah.
I fully agree. Janet,
I've liked Janet since season 1, by the way.
I agree.
I think that she was necessary for the show.
I think so, too.
Because otherwise, who was Kristen going to fight with?
Exactly. And I think that the audience was really conditioned from the start of the show to really sort of be in the corner of Kristen, her big comeback. And I get it. I was too. But I think that just set sort of Janet up to fail in this feud with her that we're still talking about it, and people are still using sort of the fan it, or they call it fan it. Like they're still using that against her, and I'm like, okay, but it's the way that the cards are falling. Danny and Nia's relationship is not one that I would ever be envious of.
Of course not.
Brittany and Jax, done.
Yeah.
Kristen and Luke are having a tough time postpartum.
Yeah.
Have a little bit of sympathy for that, obviously, but like, it's not necessarily a relationship that I'm envious of. Michelle and Jesse are done.
Are they?
You don't think they are?
I root for them to get back together. Although she's fucking Dr. Dre. I see the photos.
Holding hands at Nobu Malibu.
All right. Like,
those grainy ass images.
You left Jesse for Dr. Dre? Maybe Google first, honey.
She likes the money, okay?
All right. Michelle's dead. She's locked in my basement, okay? Listen to the Eminem song and then get back to me.
Help. Yeah.
And then there's the periphery couples, you know?
There's Jasmine, there's Zach, and those seem like good relationships, honestly.
They are, but I don't care about either of them.
It's just that I think that Janet and Jason are these lightning rods, and it just like doesn't fully make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Janet's been kind of vindicated. And listen, her delivery sometimes is like, I'm like, Janet, you're not helping yourself.
No, listen.
You don't always need the apology. You don't always, but
she's what Ray Sardi would say is she's right. She has a point, but she'd be arguing wrong. You know,
yes,
she is
exactly
her delivery is very
it's
aggressive.
Very like, but what about me?
Yeah, it's very aggressive. It's very, sometimes it's a little holier than thou too.
Definitely.
But I think this just may be how she interacts with people on the show, because Ariana Madix has IRL friends with Janet, and has said to me she's fab.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, I believe it.
And I believe Ariana.
And if she's vouching for her in that way.
Yeah.
And she also said that, she sort of said something on Watch What Happens Live, like, I don't watch, Ariana saying she's never watched any of the Valley.
That's a flex.
Huge flex. Huge flex. But she was like, listen, I don't know how Janet is on the show, but in real life, I believe it. At the core of Janet's arguments are arguments that I believe in.
Of course. And I think this goes into something we can talk about with fans and their distortion of what's actually happening in these shows just because they have favorites, and also what is happening with the core, like, conflict of a show. You know, you often have these moments where fans seem adverse to conflict on the show. You know, they want the person they don't like to be fired, forgetting that this is a reality TV drama.
We need conflict.
Right. You need conflict. Like, are you going to watch
Let's go watch.
Like, are you going to watch a scripted drama with no conflict?
No.
Right. So you want that in these shows, and it's always odd when people are vehemently against someone who is in conflict with their favorite person. And obviously this happened with Janet and Kristen. And I think it's because of a years-long relationship with Kristen, where they've been
definitely
able to enjoy the ups and downs and the highs and lows of her reality television career. But if you step outside of being a fan of Kristen and remember her Vanderpump Rules tenure, you would also be mad at Kristen. Stassi would be fighting with her on the show right now if she were on the Valley.
And that's the thing. People will forgive and forget certain things and not others. Lala's such an interesting example, because I think she's actually having like a really unexpectedly good showing on this season of the Valley.
I'm not watching this season. So I wouldn't know.
She's taking it to Danny, who is like mistreating his wife, over drinking, terrible drunk. She's the only one calling it out, essentially.
Yes.
She's like the voice of reason all of a sudden. But people will never seemingly come around to her because of how she handled her final season of Vanderpump Rules with Ariana and trying to be the villain there. But it's like, we're never going to forget that about Lala, but we're going to forget about maybe some of Kristen's ups and downs over the years. It's so interesting to me what people will hold on to and what they won't. And like, the thing about being a reality star is you're taught to move forward. You have to move on. You can't, if you hold on to a grudge on reality TV, if you won't move on from a conflict,
then you're on Beverly Hills.
Or you're fired. And like, and like, that's just not, that's like the direct opposite of how you handle being on a show. So it's funny how some fans are unable to do that, and they're unable to like recognize sort of the tension there. And yeah, it's a frustrating experience sometimes.
Well, speaking about the fans, is there a point where audience feedback has become too powerful?
Yeah.
You know, are fans helping shape these shows, or are they inadvertently breaking them?
I sort of go back to what I said about some of the best reality stars and Bravo stars are people who understand that there is like space for that feedback and that criticism of them online and amongst the fans. Some of the other best reality stars don't even read any of that stuff. Don't pay attention to that stuff. Giselle Bryant, number one on that list. Doesn't really go on social.
I love Giselle.
And so do I.
And listen, Giselle and I got into it on Watch What Happens Live.
Can you remind me of what happened there?
I was bartending when promoting my book, when she was there with Robin Dixon. And I asked a question about Ashley's finances. And Giselle,
reasonably shady, some might say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Giselle was like, Ashley's fine. Ashley's fine. Like, we got into a little bit, but then, we posed, we chatted afterwards, got photos, etc.
Giselle
gave
gets
her a copy of my book. She got it.
She gets it.
Now, Ashley did block me after that, which is crazy.
And Ashley usually actually understands it too.
I know.
From my
We've done so many things together over the years, though, so maybe she felt that it was a betrayal.
You know what?
I mean, during COVID, Ashley Darby and I did a like an Instagram live about Black Lives Matter, etc. So
can I give you some feedback?
Yeah.
Episode idea: burying the hatchet with Ashley Darby. I'll do the voicemail.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of both of you, Yeah, so Giselle is one of those people who gets it. And it's like, there's definitely a lot of people who don't or can't help themselves, which I understand. I have sympathy for, like, you're on TV, like, you want to know what people are saying about you.
Yeah. But you can't go look
But you can't have that inform how you act on the show, because otherwise it's inauthentic. Otherwise you're going to be too fragile probably for it. And
are you at the point where, like, the streets talk about you? Are there Gibson Reddit threads?
I don't Google. I know that I get mentioned on Reddit, but I don't look at it ever.
Let me pull it up.
Don't.
I'm kidding.
You know how I know that? Somebody in the city, I won't say them. They asked a mutual friend, "What did Gibson say about me on his podcast?" And they go, what do you mean? They go, "I saw on Reddit that somebody was referencing what I was saying about somebody."
Who from in the city is on Reddit? That's crazy. Probably Kenny.
No, not Kenny, but it's I can't even think about that, to be honest. Like, it's like that would make me way too.
I stopped looking at Reddit.
Do that.
I only looked at Reddit once in my lifetime, and it was
reviews.
Years ago.
Yeah.
When there used to be just a regular page of, like, each Keep It episode, Oh,
wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And people would discuss each episode, and it was fun until it wasn't.
Yes.
And then you had to move on. And since then, I don't look for myself online.
And that's the difficult part, honestly, of, like, kind of being, like, a creator, podcaster in this era, because
and a personality, because people you want
they get mad if you don't have the same opinion as them.
Yeah.
And I get that, because I'll listen to a podcast and be frustrated that like somebody who I really respect thinks differently. But it's also hard for you to also improve your show. Totally.
Because you can't go looking for constructive feedback. You can't get constructive feedback.
And I'd love that,
because it's mixed in with
oh my God,
psychosis.
Yes. It's like you're taught to sort of create these communities online and on, engage on threads and in the replies. But the minute that you see one thing that's crossing a line or really kind of like attacking you as a person, or it's like 1 star because I like Janet, you know what I mean? It's like, then it just kind of fucking ruins my outlook. And so I don't even look, really. I wish there was a way to filter it, but yeah, I totally agree. It's like, I would love constructive.
But you produce everything.
I do it all myself,
yeah,
except for the video part. But like, I love constructive feedback. I love when I get a DM from somebody that's like, hey, like for example, like a guest recently said something that was people really didn't like, and it wasn't my opinion, but even the way I reacted, I guess and I'm like, I want to hear that if you're delivering it in sort of an informed, like, pleasant package.
Why'd you let Amanda Francis come on and say the N-word? That's crazy, Gibson.
I'm not meriting that with a response. Though I would have Amanda on my podcast.
Well, I DM'd with Amanda. At your urging.
Well, didn't you publicly go back and forth with her a little bit?
So this was after. You ain't got no damn hair there. This was after I made a comment about Bose.
Yes.
From Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Mostly just I was being messy, but I commented that the questions about her from Andy at the reunion stemmed from the fact that she had made this beef with Amanda, her storyline. And her argument was that everyone was talking about Amanda. But I was like, but baby, you went in. You've interviewed many housewives. Do you think cast members today are performing for the camera? Are they increasingly performing for these podcasts, for fan accounts, and for the social media discourse that they know will follow?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that makes the real good finds for these shows stand out even more. You know, I think about people like Bronwyn or Angela, or like even like a Jen Pedronti on OC. Like those people like have really hit well on in their respective franchises. And they know how to play into certain things. I think Bronwyn and Angela really do. But ultimately, like there's an authenticity at the core of it that they like to show and they aren't afraid to show. But there's so many of them who just come on like immediately hawking the business, immediately like, you know, taking some like phrases popularized in the gay community and like trying to make it their own, and like clearly have some ghostwriters doing their confessional. You know, it's just
only
like
Miss Quad has got it. Okay,
Miss Quad. Now that's a star.
That's a star. Okay,
from day one.
Yeah, from day one. I remembered that I had done this interview with her when I was at BuzzFeed years ago, before I'd even started watching Married to Medicine, but I knew who she was.
Yeah. She's, yes. So there's a lot of people like that perform. And like, I think people think so short term these days, like kind of across the board. And like the people who really have the long game in mind realize that you have to make a splash and you have to be authentic from day one. And like, it's harder to find really good reality stars these days, but when they find the good ones, they're gonna stick around, and it's because they're not performing in that same way at all times, at least.
Well, do you think viewers still want reality, or do they want the feeling of reality? Because looking across each franchise too, there's different wants that people tend to need from these shows, there's different complaints that tend to pop up. The conflict averse people tend to all be around Potomac, you know, and that stems from a lot of issues. But then the fan base for Beverly Hills, the non-online fan base, seems to enjoy the fact that nothing happens on it.
It's really wild. That is the biggest tension that I think that exists, is the online fandom of Beverly Hills versus the offline fandom.
Because the ratings are
the
high.
highest rated show on all of Bravo.
Right. And I think it is. And I think when Andy gets upset with criticisms of it, his reasoning is, well, it's number one, it's popular. But isn't that a little bit like a Swiftie being mad that you don't like The Life of a Showgirl?
Kind of.
It's number one, but is it as good as it used to be?
Is the quality actually there?
Right.
Yeah, or is it sort of skating by on its sort of like built up goodwill,
and
or
will it
past
be remembered? Like, are you creating a product that is worthy of the name brand and something that people will be remembering?
When Beverly Hills gets to season 20, what are we going to think about? Are we going to think about, you know, Kyle and Dorit's third season of their feud, or are we going to talk about, you know, real Munchausen syndrome?
Right, we're going to talk about that. I think the only thing we'll be talking about from this current era is Dorit smoking a cigarette. Yeah,
which is an indelible image.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think that's the other thing. It's like the different expectations across franchises. It's kind of unpredictable, I guess. But that's also just reminds me that like these women should not be comparing themselves to people across the different shows and stuff. Like there really are different lanes for all of them. And like just because Salt Lake City does something really well. OC tried to reheat their nachos last season by having this like blogger storyline, and it just totally didn't work, and it was like rejected immediately by fans. That's what Salt Lake City's been doing for 3 years.
Right.
You know, like these really do operate differently. And
if you want to replicate Salt Lake City, like commit some fraud. That's always fun. You know,
we love to watch it. We hate crime, but we love watching it play out. Yeah, and I think the performance element. One of the reasons that I love talking about the shows, and some of my best conversations happen when you do talk about the sort of meta-ness of these reality shows at this point. The tension between the on-camera and the off-camera, the performance and the authenticity, what people think they're doing on a show versus how it's actually coming across. I love that shit. You know, like it's part of the fabric of it. It's unavoidable. And so you kind of have to embrace it from my perspective. Like if you don't embrace that part of it, I'm guessing you're not having fun watching these shows anymore. You know, if you're like, I hear from people who aren't really online about Bravo and they're like, Salt Lake City, it's too much for me. It's too much about the show. And I'm like, well, yeah. You know, what does Brian Moylan always say? Every fight on the show is about the show.
Yeah. It's been the most meta Housewives show since it started.
Totally.
They just didn't get it.
Totally. You just have to accept that about most of these shows. And I think you'll have a more pleasant viewing experience and you can kind of think about it from like another level, honestly.
Well, do you think that is where reality is heading? Because, you know, the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, for instance, right? It is very much about mom talk. You see them striving for this fame. You know it's about the show. And sometimes Housewives breaks that fourth wall with that. Some of the franchises more than others. But should it really be about we're making this TV show? Because if you look at something like Real Housewives of Rhode Island, I feel like what's so refreshing about the show is it is back to Bravo basics.
Totally.
This is an insular community, and these are problems that existed before the cameras arrived.
I think it gets back to what we were just saying before, where it's like every show is different. So for example, like Next Gen NYC, the next season of that show seems to be a show about a show. It is addressing their fame, being on a show and how that changes people, social media, all that stuff. Vanderpump Rules, part of the reason why that show couldn't sustain itself was because it didn't do that soon enough. Those people were outgrowing the premise of their show. We had these personalities people loved, but we were pretending they were still working at a restaurant.
I mean, it's what I call the Adam DeVello problem. The Hills had that problem.
Totally.
Selling Sunset had that problem.
Still does.
Well, I say had because I'm not watching that show anymore.
There's before Chrishell and after Chrishell.
Okay.
Let's just say that.
BC.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that on Housewives, though, Housewives is an inherently sort of camp.
And it's more fluid, too, than those shows.
Yes,
because...
and I think there's an artifice that you can hold up on Housewives. There just is. That, you know, we pretend that all these women have the lifestyles that they're pretending to have. Some of them obviously have them. Some of them don't. But we accept part of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are things that we'll all accept on Housewives in particular, even if it's not fully based in whatever. So if they want to hold up, you know, the premise that this is a friend group, that these people are planning their trips, I'll accept it.
Well, these are personal artifices, for one. You know, this is something that can exist in your own friend group. You know, like there's always going to be the friend who is stunting a bit more than they should be, you know, and maybe like you are planning trips, but there's, you know, like the one person who's actually doing it, you know, it feels authentic in a way. And the arguments, even if they're not immediate close friends, they're coworkers, you're interacting with them constantly. It feels natural. Yeah. I feel like Vanderpump Rules had the Adam DeVello problem because the central conceit of the show was phony. These people don't work at a restaurant.
Totally.
And so as long as you're pretending that they work at a restaurant and that Lisa Vanderpump is actually chastising them, particularly with the reboot, it doesn't feel real because the actual premise of the show doesn't make sense.
Absolutely. And that sort of blocks you from getting attached to the people. And I think that for Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I mean, I love that show, but I've always, since they started basically never putting the cameras down, once it became apparent that they were just always going to be rolling on that show, they've been churning out that show. From the minute that was starting to happen, I was like, this isn't sustainable. I love the fact that they're filming so in such a meta way, and we're hearing about Dancing with the Stars and all these different opportunities and how that breeds jealousy among this group. I love that. But I knew that something had to happen, and something did happen. They paused production for months. So they did it really well until, but not in a most sustainable way.
How do you think Hulu's doing?
I like that they're throwing a lot of stuff at the wall. I like that they seem to realize that maybe there's a little bit of like Bravo offshoot that they can capitalize on. Vanderpump Villa has never hit for me.
No.
I've tried that show. It doesn't.
Even with the
With
Secret Lives
Stassi
drama.
or the Secret Lives drama. I know. That show has never grabbed me.
Mhm.
I love the Naders.
Okay.
Love thy
Okay, because I have a
Nader.
question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck are the Naders?
That's what
I feel like these women, at least I knew who the Kardashians were.
Well, that's
but
why I tapped into the show.
Right, okay,
I was
because
who
I'm like,
is
who are the
Brooks
Naders?
Nader in this world?
So I feel like we have mutual friends who will sometimes be with them in the Hamptons. And then I'm like, oh, the girl from the TV show
So
that I've never seen.
as Kyle cooks on the reunion, curiosity got the best of me.
Okay.
I went to check it out.
Well, also killed the cat.
But I'm,
But
not,
tell me
I'm
more.
not a cat.
Okay. Tell me more.
I'm a Nader curious guy. It scratches the Kardashian itch.
Okay.
In the way that the Kardashians doesn't scratch that itch anymore.
Who are they? What do they
Brooks
do?
Nader is a Sports Illustrated model.
Okay.
I'd heard the name, didn't really know anything about her. Then she was on Dancing with the Stars and sort of popped off because she got in a relationship with her pro partner,
Oh, okay.
Gleb. And the first episode they break up.
Oh.
So there's a premise there.
Okay, that's an
But-
arc.
Yeah, and they talk about being famous, and they're pretty open about just how thirsty and open they are to opportunity and being famous. And
Where do they live?
And I appreciate that. They, on the first season, in an apartment in Soho all together. There's
Okay.
4 of them. They're from Louisiana, and their parents are part of it. They have got really humble,
Let's say
really
like Bon
humble
Ton
beginnings.
Brûlée.
There's some jealousy among the sisters. It's good. There's a. It also has some of the hokey storylines. There's an Ozempic addiction storyline. But season 2, they have Alex Baskin on board from
Okay.
the Valley and Vanderpump Rules. So
Is that a good thing?
I don't know, but Brooks Nader, I went to the Hulu Get Real like upfront event in LA.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was.
It's basically like their mini BravoCon. There aren't fans there, but there are a lot of creators and stuff invited. Brooks Nader, star power.
Okay.
Walking down a hallway, sunglasses on, mini dress. The room kind of stops, to be
Okay.
honest. Like, and I've been around a lot of people like that. She's different.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was the bar was on the floor for me with that show.
Okay. I will cautiously tap in.
You'll maybe love
How
it.
many
Light
seasons
Nader.
are there?
There's just been one season. They're
Okay.
filming the second season right now.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just 8 episodes.
Yeah.
It's an easy like kind of background watch.
Love Thy Nader. What a title.
The title got me too, honestly, if
Yeah.
I'm being completely honest.
Are they religious?
No.
Okay.
I think they might have grown up religious, like in small town Louisiana, but
Yeah, down in the bayou. Getting back to Bravo, though,
Yeah.
and getting back to what viewers want. We're both on Threads,
we are
a hellscape at times.
occasionally.
It is actually wild to me how 0 to 100 Threads has gone in
Mhm.
terms of Housewives, General Bravo discourse.
Hmm.
Potomac was discussing Potomac on Threads was stressing me out.
with
Discussing
on Twitter.
Summer House on Threads makes me want to buy a gun
Don't do it.
for myself,
Don't
not
do it.
for the fans.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously. But at what point did Bravo fans stop seeing themselves as viewers and start seeing themselves as stakeholders?
Scandival.
Mm.
I think Scandival changed everything. There's the tracking of details, rereading things that happen on the show, and is a clue.
Mm-hmm. It's
That-
like they're looking for Carmen Sandiego
no,
at this
and
point.
everybody thinks they are,
Yeah.
and sometimes they are. Like the West and Amanda thing. Part of a lot of that noise was coming from fans, and some of the wait, like, what's happening here? Like people were really reading it. Like Sam Bush, Bravo historian, she threaded in like early February, West and Amanda watch this space. Like people
Mhm.
were on it.
I would never get on Threads, posting the personal business of West or Amanda.
You mean following them in Italy and like whatever?
I'm making a joke about myself because I did
Yeah,
do that.
yeah, you did, and then you told the story on my podcast.
I did.
Yes.
And then I was on every Bravo blog ever.
Yeah, that's when you just can't read anything. You
Yeah.
know? But
it was so funny too because a lot of the comments were, "Who is Ira?
in
Is this
world.
true?" And I was like, "Well, first of all, this is like the new Summer House fandom, okay? Because like I've been on Watch Happens Live, okay? Like I've been in the house, spring, summer, fall, and winter. I hated Winter House actually, but
Me too.
I've been in the house, you know. So like that is why when I posted about Amanda Batula showing up at my friend's birthday party, that is why it got traction in the first place, because people knew that I wouldn't make that
no,
up.
of course not.
You know? But then there's the moment where, you know, it's fun to be involved in the drama. It's fun to be involved in Bravo. And then I'm watching In the City this season, and my apartment fire from last year is in the background of a scene. Which is
Did you
crazy.
realize that immediately that was probably your...
No, so Kara from Everybody's Business But Mine.
Love Kara, shout out.
She sent me a message and said, hey, I just want to let you know, like if you watch In the City, I think that this is your apartment in a scene, just so you're not shocked when you see it. So I was prepared for it to come up. I was not really prepared for the actual scene itself, which is... It's so funny how banal the scene is.
Yeah. And they're literally just like, oh, we can't hear ourselves talk. There's a fire truck.
The chaos of New York.
And
cheers.
like,
welcome to New York.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that honestly is why we watch Bravo. It gave me not so much, you know, Karen and Giselle fighting with a mime, you know, it's not funny, but it is surreal to see a moment in your life that was very traumatic and like changed the course of my life in the background of a scene packaged as reality, and this is these other women's reality, and they're just like New York, you know, but it also goes to why I've sort of like these shows, because that is their lives. They don't give a fuck about like what's happening down the street, you know, and it's very representative of the young white women who live in the West Village now.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah. And it's like, how many times have you sat out at a dinner or whatever and you saw a fire truck go by having no idea where it was going? It's like, I do think that In the City's done a pretty good job of capturing.
We don't
like,
usually comment on it though and be like, oh, this is so loud.
Oh no, definitely not. Definitely not. But it's like, it's such a, you're right. It's like sort of like a parallel universe in a way, but it's actually real. It is interesting when you find yourself sort of tangentially attached to things. And
I mean, what's it been like seeing yourself on TV? You haven't been involved in the drama though, or have you?
The bigger moments for me have been an interview I did with Janet was on season 2 of The Valley. Probably the biggest actually was when I interviewed Wendy.
Yes.
I interviewed Wendy the season before this past one.
Did they play your clips in court?
No.
Okay.
But I did sign a release for them for the show. They never used it.
Okay.
And I asked her about, it was the beginning of the previous season.
Yes.
And I was, but when you interview a housewife at the beginning of a season, there's not that much to talk about. So you kind of have to go back to like between seasons. Have they made any headlines? Like kind of whatever. I saw a headline from April. This was in like the fall.
Yeah.
Wendy and Eddie Osefo's home burglarized. It was a TMZ. It didn't have that much coverage. And I like kind of forgot it ever happened.
It was Phaedra Parks breaking into those rooms.
You know what? I'm leaving. I'm just kidding.
My brain is demented.
Yeah, no, it really is. But thank God it is. Beautifully demented.
Thank you.
I asked her about this robbery, and she went on for 2 minutes about it. Didn't really think anything of it. Didn't even clip it out.
Yeah.
A year later, the arrest happens.
You get them clips ready.
I clipped that out.
Yeah.
Right away. Because I was like, holy shit, I asked her about this.
Yeah.
And I knew that people would remember I asked about it. And I kind of wanted to just sort of put it out there myself. Because otherwise people would have found it on YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
It went everywhere because I was the only person to ever ask her about the robbery.
Well, and
ever.
So
then she unfollowed me.
Oh.
And listen, I love Wendy.
Yeah.
I've interviewed her every season of her show.
But you were doing your job.
Exactly. I felt that I was kind of taking control of that clip that I knew was going to make the rounds eventually. So why not put it out on my own page, kind of just presenting as is, essentially.
And this is what I mean when it goes to the point of being an actual person covering this as your job.
Yeah, totally.
And being someone on Threads. You know, there's a difference between clipping that out for the dopamine rush.
Yeah, totally.
As many of these people online, like you're following West and Amanda around Italy, you know, like the paparazzo and La Dolce Vita, for what? You know, just so that you can tell your friends, I'm the one who sent it to Demois or Bravo and Cocktails. You know, you don't get paid for it. Whereas you clipping this out, it's one, you're doing your due diligence, and two, like you are actually just sort of letting people know that, hey, I'm asking real questions. I am not just, you know, a Bravo blogger who is, you know, gonna get a housewife in front of me and ask, like, what's the tea? Tell me about your fight with so-and-so. Like, you are actually asking questions
and stuff like that.
And that other people, like, literally no one else asked that question.
Nobody. Yeah, it's, and I have to remind, is it your turn to pick up?
It's Wendy. No, it's for you.
Oh, God. Hello.
Hi, Ira. Hi, Gibson. My name is Cheyenne, and my question is a little bit of a throwback. I'm curious what you all think about online speculation that Kelly Bensimon was on meth during the famous Scary Island episode of Real Housewives of New York, which is in the end of season 3. The speculation comes from, I guess at one point Sonia says that it smells like cat pee, and I guess meth smells like cat pee.
Oh my God.
If you don't think she was on meth, I'm curious what you think was going on with her that trip. Something is clearly off. Anyway, thank you.
Anyway, thank you.
Child.
Listen. Can't say I know what meth smells like, so can't confirm or deny the cat pee likeness.
You know, methadone smells like cat pee as well. So she could have been doing Berlin drugs that you sniff. 3M, 4M.
I don't know anything about that.
I'll take you to the club.
Say when.
No, I obviously don't know if
I have
Kelly
no
Bensimon
idea.
was on meth, and
I haven't rewatched that scene in a while.
maybe we should ask Bravo historian. She knows the tea. Watch this space.
She
Kelly
does.
Bensimon and
That's the call.
Until she posts Kelly Bensimon meth. Watch this space. I'm not going to believe it.
Listen, I'm not. That is a hard thing to talk about around Bravo. Is like
Drug usage.
Yeah, Carl's been very open about his past drug usage. Like it's a thing, but it's impossible to talk about or acknowledge.
Let's
on
talk
the show.
about Carl for a minute, though.
Okay.
Bravo celebrities who are on long-running shows.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when they outgrow the show or the show outgrows them? And I think Carl Radke is a prime example. His arc on Summer House was, I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. And now that he's sober, one, he doesn't really fit in the Summer House because it's just all these kids drinking. And it's like, what is Carl supposed to be? Ms. Garrett from The Facts of Life at this point, you know?
Sure.
And in the city, it didn't really fit for him to be on the show because it's about couples. And, you know, he's in a relationship with Soft Bar. And when I presented this online, some people were like, I think I actually would love to watch, you know, Carl being sober and opening up his bar. And I said, well, that sounds boring as fuck. Like, it just doesn't sound like in the city. He could be in the background doing it as like maybe supporting. I think that would be fun. But devoting a whole sort of storyline and time to him doesn't feel what in the city is. It feels more like if he were a housewife with other things going on,
right? Like
that would maybe be interesting. But in this particular show, it doesn't really seem like it fits. But what do you do with someone like Carl Radke?
Well, I think it's interesting because part of the reason why people are defensive of it is because he had his best season yet this past season. But I think that putting him as a friend of quasi role on In the City would have been a smart thing because it's at least a familiar face in a sea of a lot of new people on that show. But I think that, like, what do you do with X person after they outgrow X show or vice versa? It's a problem on Bravo because they didn't know what to do with the RHONY women who they think outgrew that show or the show outgrew them. I would say they think the show outgrew them. and there was no place for them to land on Bravo. Ultimate Girls Trip was getting started, and they did one of those seasons, but you can't just like keep doing that.
And their season wasn't good.
No, it wasn't good. And E is trying to see if they have this opportunity to basically have like an Ex-Housewives show. People that are no longer on those shows, people still maybe are intrigued by their lives.
Mar-a-Lago Golden Life.
I could see though, but I could see that show evolving into like being not even just old RHONY people, like it just being like all old housewives if it works. I think the production, how it's produced is like a huge question mark for me.
Yeah.
But it is a thing that Bravo has to contend with because it's this weird thing where the longer that somebody's on Bravo, the more expensive they are to keep around. And you can only have so many really long running people on a show before it gets too expensive. Like,
and not everybody is a Candy Burris who can just leave.
Who deserves over $1 million a
Who
season.
deserves over $1 million, but also she can leave because she has shit to do.
I mean, there's I think that
Dorit needs the check.
I think that Candy, Paige, Bethany, and Ariana are the 4 biggest examples of that. And I don't know if there's anybody else who can be in that bucket.
Like Heather from OC isn't in that bucket of star.
But she's also still on the show.
But like if she were to leave,
she'd be fine.
Like she's rich as fuck.
But in terms of relevance, though, you know, and like I think a lot of people think they can leave and still be relevant, but you still really do need that show as a foundational thing. And yeah, I think it's a really hard.
Look at me, I'm podcasting again.
You got it, but but like you realize you want this central vehicle.
Yeah, and you need to be doing what
The Kardashians
people
came
know
back
you
to
for.
reality TV.
Exactly.
The Kardashians, you know, so if they need it, they don't need it for the followers or the whatever, but it's like they always have something to bring it back to.
My friend Ben Richardson refers to it as social capital. And it is a thing, and I think we all possess it, particularly in New York too. You always need a thing to reference that you're currently doing.
Sure.
That's ongoing for people to
active
check in on you. Like Ben throws this party spaghetti strap, which I love. At Signal, it's like once a month. You can always be like, oh, I throw this party. And in New York, people can stop by it, you know?
Absolutely. And like once a housewife, always a housewife. You can be on Housewives for one season in 2008 and you can still say that, you know? Like Deshaun,
and you can start a project. You can start a podcast.
And you could. I don't know how many episodes it would run for.
Could Deshaun have one?
Deshaun Snow?
Yeah.
I don't know, but she was...
Snow Day.
That's actually good. She should have Ex-Housewives on and talk about that.
Yes.
Here's the thing, like, you can always say that you're a housewife, but if you're, I'm guessing if you introduce yourself to somebody, they're like, what do you do? Oh, I'm a real housewife. You're still on the show? No. How long has it been since you were on the show? 8 years, 12 years, 15 years? There's only a certain amount of time before you realize you kind of do need to come back or kind of go back to the well. And like, there are so many of these other shows popping up that sort of are mashup reality shows where they bring people together. But like, people go on those for one season. There's more opportunity to be a career reality star, but I do think that having the home, I think it's like underappreciated, honestly.
Yes, and honestly, you know, I made a joke about like I came back to doing a podcast again, and like the Kardashians are back on reality TV. We're not doing these things because also like you're feeling like I'm irrelevant unless I do this. You know, you also have to enjoy doing it.
Of course.
And there are people there are the people who get on Housewives and who immediately it's like, I'm just here to hawk my shit.
Yeah.
And then get out.
Well, those people aren't going to last.
They don't last. And
people aren't going to still buy their products after they're off the
You have
show.
to be a person who enjoys doing it because you're going to enjoy the mess. You're going to enjoy the conflict. You're going to enjoy the camaraderie that comes with it. You're going to enjoy the fans to an extent. You know?
To an extent. And also, like, people are going to buy into what you do literally and sort of more metaphorically because they love you as a person. And like, if you come on and it's very transactional or you're whatever, nobody's going to, or maybe you have one great season and you are out like, I'm not going to keep buying your pillowcases. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to do that because I want to support you and I love you. And like, I don't even know if I like the product, but like, that's a whole other element to it as well.
Because it is hard, you know?
It is. I have so much respect for them.
What's so interesting, like, for everyone who's had a glow up and becomes a star, Ariana, Paige, even like the
Sierra
men,
right now.
Sierra right now. And then you think of like the men who are sort of still around too, you know, like Craig Conover, Shep. They've all gone through traumatic things on the show, embarrassing things on the shows that they've been on. And that's the price. That's the price you pay. Like Debbie Allen said, fame costs.
Deal with the devil.
Right.
And like, I don't know if Shep and Craig really like Beyond Southern Charm anymore. I'm sure there are moments where they really enjoy it, but overall, there's an element that they kind of like wish they didn't have to do.
Which is crazy.
But people still line up at Sewing Down South on King Street in Charleston because Craig is still on Southern Charm after 10 years.
Which is crazy
and he
to
knows
me
that.
Because I love this past season, actually. I
thought it was good.
I thought it was good. Well, I thought it was good because of the dynamic between the three men, their relationship, you know? Because I think it's one of the rare Bravo shows where the drama is between heterosexual men. Yeah. And it's a rare show that dissects relationship to the patriarchy in a way that none of the other shows do, you know? Because it used to be a show where the women were constantly just sort of like moths to the flame, you know, of the patriarchy. And then you had people like Patricia reinforcing that. You had people like Thomas Ravenel reinforcing that. Oof. And then the show has sort of shifted.
Yeah, definitely.
When you think about, you know, just like the manosphere, right? You know, and just sort of like the softening of what being a man is, the widening in scope of what being a man in popular culture is now, right? You now have a show where this past season, except for like the Vanita, et cetera, of it all, the main drama of this show was the friendship between these three men, and they were fighting and they were gossiping about each other, et cetera. And I found that so compelling on a network like Bravo, which is usually women's business.
Totally.
And they stayed out of women's business this season for the most part. Not Craig.
For the most part.
They stayed out of women's business, and they were rolling with the fellas.
They were.
And they were. It was so exciting to me. Austin and Craig having that fight in costumes. Just like the
literary
Housewives
characters.
do.
Yeah,
you know,
totally
just like when you watch Housewives in costume parties, having fights and looking ridiculous. Seeing men do that was so entertaining to me because it was also about their own relationships. It wasn't them fighting on behalf of like their housewife. You know, when we see the men do that, it happens a lot on sort of like a Potomac. It's happened a lot where you see, you know, like the men sort of like going back and forth with each other, but they're secondary characters, and it's them feeling sort of
defending their wives,
feeling aggrieved for sort of like you're, you know, disrespecting me in a sort of way.
Knight in shining armor.
Right. It's not personal. It's not deep.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. And I think the Austin Craig thing, it's like that's totally also about the show. It's these two guys who like were historically best friends. They're stuck together because of the show that breeds a competitiveness between them, that keeps them together, that, you know, they both want to be the star in a way. And like, it's them plus Shep. They're all at different levels of.
Shep was the famous one at first. But he's the one who had the spinoff.
But Craig's the one who capitalized on it.
Right. Because relationship got canceled.
Not to discredit him, but like, Paige also was a huge part of that and sort of helping and to like encourage him to really build an ecosystem around him, not just the show, but around him. He's also probably another person who could leave the show and be pretty okay.
Oh, and they keep calling. This is Jen Shaw.
Actually, the FBI. Gibson speaking.
Hello, Ronnie here. Okay, I'm asking today about Rhode Island. There's some controversy because obviously Liz is a psychopath, but I feel like Joellen is pushing Liz. Like, why do you follow a psychopath around, poking them and like bugging them? Like, she kept walking away from that fight at Frank Sinatra night, which, by the way, no one needs that assault on our ears ever again. But, you know, she's walking outside, she's trying to get away, and Joellen's just constantly following her, never stopping, follows her back into the restaurant, keeps it going. And then she's like, you pulled my hair. She did not pull that girl's hair. I mean, she shouldn't have touched her hair, but she still didn't pull her hair. I don't know. I think Joellen's more of an instigator than people are giving her credit for, and she's getting away with a lot right now. And people are just blaming the obvious villain, as usual, which is Liz. So I guess what's your opinion on that? I'm interested for a little nuance.
Thank you, Ronnie. Well, Joellen was following her around because she's good at her job.
Yes.
You know, I think Joellen, that speaks to her expertise. I think it's very natural for Joellen as a housewife. I agree with what Ronnie's saying. She was instigating and she was pushing and poking the bear.
She's very Ashley Darby in that
I see
sense.
that, but I think that Joellen has perhaps the longest runway and most promise as like a well-rounded housewife that can deliver for years and years and years to come. A lot of them do, but she's a different level to me of housewifery. And I think that's actually a really good example of that. You know, I think it is. Some of the criticism of Liz is really predictable in a way that's like what we were talking about earlier, where people can't really accept a villain.
Yeah.
You know, and she's, say what you want, but like she's giving us.
She also warned us. Was that the interview at the beginning of the season where she said, well, you all might not like me in the last half of the season.
So there's some awareness there. Exactly. Yeah. And like, yeah, I think that the Joellen and Liz fight, because that was originally a fight between Liz and Alicia. There's a fight for power. Then
you have the other power struggle with Rosie and Kelsey,
which is also fantastic.
It is fancy. I'm sorry. That is Ashley Darby behavior. Let me come back into the house.
Oh my God. Heaven. Respect your instigators. Yes. They were both making a moment. Yeah. I'm sorry. And like, did Rosie eat Kelsey up verbally? Yes. Should Rosie learn to take a joke? Also, yes. You know? Miss Slam Pig United States, come on.
Slam Pig.
How can you not just... I have to laugh.
I loved gay people learning that word.
Did we not know it before?
I feel like we don't really use it a lot.
No, we don't. We don't use it.
Yeah, it's not our culture.
I think we should.
It's not our culture, yeah.
It's the summer of Slam Pigs.
Like, I mean...
Speak for yourself. Slam Pig Summer, you heard it here first.
Oink, oink.
What does Sierra say? You roll in the mud, you're going to get dirty.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. We're going to close this out with a rapid fire because that's always fun.
Always fun.
I'm going to give you a Bravo topic. You have to answer immediately. No hedging, no caveats, no defending, etc.
At least like my opinions on things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most underrated housewife?
Ashley Darby.
Best single season performance?
Monica Garcia.
Andy's not going to like that one.
Listen, Monica, the most impactful one-season wonder ever in Housewives history. She deserved to be a one-season wonder, but that's impact.
I honestly think one more year, bring her back. She needs a check.
With or without Jen Shaw?
No Jen Shaw.
No Jen Shaw. I agree. I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure.
Well, most misunderstood villain?
Giselle Bryant.
Fastest fall from being a fan favorite?
Ooh. Fastest fall. Honestly, I think Heather Gay has done that in the past season.
Yeah.
She was really beloved. I think last season wasn't good for her.
The tables turned.
They did.
Yeah. Franchise currently on life support?
RHONY. Sorry. Actually, it is Miami, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah. Franchise most likely to outlive us all?
Franchise most likely to outlive us all? Salt Lake City.
Okay. I would have said Beverly Hills. I don't think that's going anywhere ever.
It does move slow.
Yeah. Housewife you'd make your emergency contact?
Wow. Housewife I'd make my emergency contact.
Right, because like who's going to actually show up
Who's
to the
a really
hospital?
good mom? Margaret Josephs.
Okay. Best Bravo husband?
Seth Marks.
Best reunion performer?
You know who's really good at reunions? The Margarita Lady. Sorry.
One housewife who should never come back?
Jen.
One housewife who should come back tomorrow?
Nene Leakes.
Period. Always Nene. My secondary answer, Crystal.
And word on the street.
And word on the street is she's the word on the street. Okay.
Yeah.
Finally, Has your friend, Lindsay Hubbard, ever been mad at you for an opinion you had about Summer House or her? You don't have to say what it is.
We've had discussions.
Okay. She is a Leo.
And so am I.
I always forget that.
Uh-huh. And here's the thing. The reason why that to me is a real friendship is because I can say things to her and she trusts my opinion.
Listen, most people should not be reading comments, etc. I love that she seems to be having fun on Threads.
Totally. She was just telling me that the other day. She was like, you people are funny on there. Pop in, reply to 3 things, get a couple thousand likes, and call it a day.
Yeah, I think a lot of people actually just should not be online.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm sorry, imagine if Jules from RHONY was on Threads back in the day.
Do I have to imagine that? Because
wandering around her empty house, putting silverware in her food.
That just brought to mind that scene of in the Berkshires where Luann's out smoking her cig and Jules just talking her ear off.
That for me is did she do 1 or 2 seasons?
One
season. She's my 1 season wonder.
She's a good 1 season wonder.
She was not particularly compelling, but she was a great secondary character for the drama that occurred that season. She gave Bethany a lot to do. She was a really sort of integral part of the Berkshires drama without necessarily contributing anything.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like and Jules is going to be on The Golden Life.
She is?
She was spotted filming a cameo.
Oh my God.
I don't know if that means she's going to lunch with them one day, but she's on camera.
I can't wait to see her new home with no furniture.
How do you know that?
I think it was Brian Moyler or someone who said that her tenure on the show was Jules wandering around her empty homes.
Listen, maybe she needs to hire Miha, Wes' girlfriend, to build her furniture for her. Because, that's what was going on in that apartment in Chelsea.
Right. Listen, West Wilson... TaskRabbits are expensive, so if you can fuck your way
a live-in TaskRabbit,
if you could fuck your way to IKEA assembly, who could ever be mad at that? See, he's thinking outside the box.
Is he though?
He was getting in the box.
You saw how he was looking. He was on that
thinking
reunion.
outside the box.
I don't know if there's much going on behind that.
He was thinking outside the box by getting in the box. Miha's.
While she unpacks the box.
Is there a cat in a hat in that box?
I don't know, there's a horsehair tie.
Green eggs and ham.